Well, hello, my lovelies, and the warmest of welcomes. Let's pluralize it, shall we? Start as we mean to go on. The warmest of I'm projecting again. Why do I always project? Remind me. I've got a microphone. Look, here it is, just there. You can see it, possibly. And you're not central again, for goodness sake. How many times do I have to tell you to sort yourself out? Get yourself in the middle. There we are. The warmest of welcomes to Thursday Night Live with me, Boaty, coming live directly into your eyes and your ears. Here from Windy Bottom, here in the frankly wet and bloody miserable Peak District National Park. So, it's Thursday, Mad Thursday, of course. So tonight, in terms of subject matter, anything goes. You name it, we'll chew it over. We will chat about it. And of course, I want to hear all about your day. How has your day been? What have you eaten? I always want to hear what you've eaten. Has anything nearly but not quite fallen on your head? And anything else that you care to throw at me? Remember, as always, it is your bounden duty to name this live stream. Yeah, there we go. So, it's Thursday. That means I'm not going to see you again live until Monday night. And it seems like forever. I mean, you know that whenever I have this special little time with you, it is nothing less than a sheer and orgasmic joy for me. And I miss you terribly when you're not here. So, gosh, let's make the most of the next hour, shall we? Or at least the next 58 minutes. Because I do plan to bugger off at about midnight tonight. These late nights have been catching up with me, and this will come as a surprise to you all, especially Simon. But the restaurant was unexpectedly busy tonight, as you will see in tomorrow's Daily Diary video. Oh, and on the subject of videos, I hope you enjoyed the two that went up today. The Daily Diary went up for all of my fantastic channel members quite early this morning. I think I got it up before 11 o'clock. I'm sorry, I don't mean that. Get your minds out of the gutter. Oh, dear me, I have to be careful what I say with you, like saying I got it up before 11 o'clock. I uploaded the video, I believe, before 11 o'clock this morning, which is quite some going by my standards. I'm sure that you'll agree. And then I had an absolute nightmare getting the 19 minutes past 7, the 1919 video up, which, as some of you will know, is part 2 of Captain Mustard's and mine somewhat epic road trip on Monday to pick up Windsor Davis, the Rover 623 GSI. And there is going to be car news tonight, so I warn you, there is a potential fleet update, and that will be happening on Monday. And the fleet might actually be complete. Let me know what you think on that one, or is there room to squeeze a couple more in? I mean, I've only got 7, or is it 8? But we'll run through. Anyway, who've I got with me? Let's have a look-see. Steve Cole, good evening to you. Barry, that guy from SETI Alpha 5, who pays me the courtesy of greeting me in our own language. And Barada to you, Barry. Barry is, of course, one of our, he's one of us, but he's living in America, taking one for the team there. And he also bids a cheery good evening to the wonderful people of the community, which is rather lovely. Sophie is here and says, hi, everyone. Hi, Sophie. Oh, and look who's here. Where has he been? Jimmy Quinn is back in our midst. Isn't that fabulous? Jimmy, where have you been? We've missed you. Simone is here, hooked on classics. Tricky chap's words. Hooked on Classics, one of our community channels. Good evening to you, Simone. The lovely James Wilson is here, says hi, hey everyone. Ashley Stewart, good old Ashley. It's always a pleasure to have his company. And what I'm going to thank Ashley particularly today, because he's a fantastic supporter of me and the channel. So I'm going to say a very special thank you. I mean, I thank you all, but I'm just picking him out because I feel like it. General Cheeseburger is amongst us. So Here we go. And it's, I mean, cheeseburger is worth his weight in gold. I mean, you have to be careful not to take him the wrong way, but the man has got the man has got a wonderfully caustic sense of humor, and he brings a little bit of what's the word? I mean, it's joy, but it's joy tempered with some concern. Whenever you see his comments on the live stream. And on that, Cheeseburger says, those flowers won't last until Monday. Make sure you buy fresh ones. I bet they bloody will, Cheeseburger. They're not looking that bad, actually. Some of them are still buds. They haven't even flowered yet. And I bought these. This one's looking a bit sorry for itself. Let's prop him up there. There we go. I've done all right out of these. I bought these last Friday, didn't I? Was it Friday? Yes, it was. So I have got a week out of them, and I might get a little bit more. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do what I did last Friday. I'll nip it. I don't get a chance to nip to Tesco. Other supermarkets are available because I work 36 hours a day, basically. But I can pop in on a Friday night. Assuming that we close the restaurant early enough. That's when I got those last Friday. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do the same again, but I reckon those are going to last. I reckon I'm going to get another week out of those. But I'll buy some nice red roses to go, you know what I mean, to go on the windowsill. I don't need to explain to you. I've got them. You've spent more time in this kitchen than I have, what with one video and another and the live streams and whatnot. So you know what I mean. The vase in the middle of the windowsill, in between the two triffids, just in front of the novelty pigs, which were my mother's thing, by the way. All of those pigs, if you've seen them in various videos or whatnot, they were all pigs that I bought for my mum. She had a thing about pigs. And do you remember those? They were all the piggins. Do you remember those? It would have been, oh gosh, what, late 80s, early 90s? And they're these little, well, I don't know what they're made of. They're not expensive. I'll show you one. Say, trying to describe it to you. Right, handmade by somebody or other. And they're these. Do you remember these? So they're pigs in various things. This one is called Piggin Decorated. So yeah, they're all piggin things. And my mum loved these. So I always used to buy, whenever I saw anything like this or anything pig related in an antique shop or anything, I always used to buy them. And these are in my kitchen as a little aid memoir of my dear mum. But the point is, just put Mr. Pig back neatly where he came from. Yeah, the point is, you know, the vase is just there. I'll get some red roses, pop those in, and we could. But those are going to last another week, Cheeseburger. You stand on me. You can put something in the water, can't you, that makes them stay alive, hang on to life for a bit longer. I don't know, the flower equivalent of Viagra, I suppose. I don't know. Powdered rhino horn. I'm sure I read that somewhere. Is it tonic water or lemonade or vodka or something that you stick in the water and it makes the flowers last longer? I don't know. One of you will tell me. Cheeseburger has welcomed Jimmy back to the community in the only way that he knows how. Right, dinner news from Simone. Dinner was chicken. Well, don't go overboard on details there, will you, Simone? I mean, what was it? Was it just a chicken that was just like plonked there? Or was it a particular part of a chicken? It could be a chicken titty or a chicken leg or a drumstick, and it could have been served in a really exciting way with a sauce bayonnaise and wild garlic rice or something. So come on, Simone, give us some details. You know we love the details here, especially when it comes to food. James says, my favourite month starts in an hour. And 9 days later, 22 is here. Oh gosh, you're turning 22. God, you're a fetus. I'm ending the dark time age of 21. Gosh, well, I mean, you'll have heard numerous old farts like me tell you to make the most of it because it flies by. So, well, I mean, I've said it now, haven't I? But believe me, it's true. So, yeah, don't wish your years away. Make the absolute best of them. You're in your prime, young sir. Enjoy it. Go out there and be thrusting and windswept and interesting. Grab life by the balls and give it a good squeeze before you get too old to do that, like me, and you just stagger out of bed in the morning, bewildered, wondering where you are, what day it is. You wander into the bathroom and there's an old man looking back at you from the mirror. You stagger downstairs, wondering which part of you is going to be aching today. Dear God. Happy days, eh? Oh, it's Skick. A good evening to you, Skick. And Skick, well, what Skick got to say, we will see. Would you not consider letting us know how much you paid and sold the cars for, and any profits that was made, plus work done and costings? Bloody hell, Skick, what are you, the tax man? No, is the quick and easy answer to that. If they were just my own cars, then yes, I possibly would. But bear in mind that when it comes to Mustard and Boaty do cars and the car business, then that is a three-way partnership. Obviously, with I'm partnered up with Captain Mustard and with the unknown banker. And to give those details away, Skip, that wouldn't be my decision alone. And I suspect that even if I were comfortable with sharing that, they might well not be. So you might just need to use your imaginations a bit, and some things may need to be kept private. Bad Books is with us and says good evening, all. Good evening to you, sir. Oh, Pingu's here. Pingu Concorde, my favourite combination of high-speed jet airliner and children's television programme. Good evening, Boaty, Lord of the Bangers. What? Dan sold separately. Okay, don't get that bit. I've just eaten a Kit Kat. Oh, well done to you. Cheeseburger says he's leaving early tonight. Is there a woman in the house? No, there isn't. I can absolutely guarantee that Windy Bottom is woman-free tonight. And I'm not leaving early. 12 o'clock is when I'm supposed to leave. It's just, I can't help myself. I get carried away and we all keep rattling on until about 1:30. But yeah, by the time Thursday comes along, I'm kind of feeling it a bit, especially after a night like tonight. Black Lines is here. Evening all. Oh, is the audio weird for anyone else, says Black Lines? In what way is it weird, sir? Let me know, guys. Okay, we got an audio problem. Okay, a couple of people mentioning that. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh God, I'm way behind on the comments already, but I'm concerned about the audio now. I've got the microphone in the same position as normal. Right, I'm looking at the latest comments now. Still a bit crackly at times. Gosh, I don't know what to do about that. Let's try a microphone change, shall we? Okay, bear with. I'll do a quick microphone change and see if the problem is with the microphone. So there'll be a bit of crackling as I handle it, missus. Okay, let's lose that one. Let's try it here. Okay, testing. Try that. How is that sounding? Let me. Thank you, Cheeseburger. Right, let me know how that sound is, and if it's okay, we'll crack on. If it's not, then I'll just unplug and fuck the neighbour. I'll go back to projecting. I think it was using the wireless one. The audio didn't change. So let me know how this is sounding. Go ahead like this or unplug and project. Let me know, let me know, let me know. Thank you, Jimmy, for your helpful comment. The mic is shit. And hi, Russ. Steve says, let's go old school. So back to projecting, yeah? Anybody else want to weigh in? Stick with the microphone, or it sounds exactly the same. And exactly the same, is that bad? All right. Okay, we will go old school. Bear with. Okay. Have you got me? Have we got sound? The microphones are out. We're going old school. I will project. Let me know that you can hear me. Okay, Cheeseburger, you got me? Can I crack on? Anybody else want to weigh in? Anybody? Speak to me. Speak now or forever hold your pieces. In this case, we're definitely going to finish at 12 if I'm projecting. I don't want to get in trouble with the neighbour again. Oh, hello. Who's pinging me? Sorry, I know you're live. Then don't ping me, for God's sake. Right, that's better, is it? Oh, it's still crackled. Maybe it's internet related. It could be internet related. The weather is pants outside. I've been having internet issues for 2 or 3 days now. I'm just having a quick look at it. It's there. It's still crackling, but it's tolerable. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to stay like this, or do you want me to go back to the microphone? Oh, it's fine now, says Simone. Intermittent crackling, that's all. Right, I think it's going to be an internet issue, guys. The internet is a bit, has been a bit iffy for a couple of days now. The weather tonight isn't going to help. It's windy and it's rainy out there. So, oh, the sound was okay with a mic, says Cheeseburger. Well, I'd rather use a mic. Okay, don't know what to do now. Should we go back to... If the sound was okay with the mic, let's go back to the mic. So I don't want to be projecting in... Oh, bollocks. Okay, we're going to go back to the mic. If the sound is the same with or without the mic, or if the crackling is the same with or without the mic, then we might as well go mic and not have me booming all over the place. Bear with. It's the internet, yeah, because I can see that the image is a bit jerky, not where it should be. Okay, have you got me back on sound? Good night, Simone. Right, somebody tell me that I've got sound and we can crack on. Plug the mic back in. It was louder, says Black Lions. Don't annoy your neighbours for our benefit. I won't. I'm back on microphone. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Yes, sounds better. Right, brilliant. Right, let's get back to where we were and crack on with some comments, shall we? Where did I get to? Can I remember? Oh, yeah, audio weird friend. Right, we dealt with that. Cheeseburger had bangers and mash for tea. Good on your cheeseburger. More details, please. Was that with gravy? Onion gravy, which is the correct accompaniment for bangers and mash? Or are you one of those total weirdos who has it with baked beans? And if you are, you should be locked up. Boaty, says Rover Joe. Rover Joe, how are you, my friend? Come and have a virtual hug from us all. We love Rover Joe. How's eBay going? How's your shop going? Are you making plenty of money selling those wonderful prints of yours? Oh, cheers, by the way, darling, to your very good health. It's the ghost of Windy Bottom. Yeah, well, there are plenty of ghosts here. No question about that. Pingu says, are you engaged yet? Either to Bernard or Mustard. P.S. In my opinion, your fleet should be an even number to be complete. Well, I agree with that, Pingu. We should talk about the fleet, actually. We should talk about the fleet and what would make the fleet complete. So at the moment, we've got, well, as far as I'm concerned, the permanent members that are going nowhere. We've got Miss Boo, the Land Rover. We've got Wetleg, the MGF. That's Wetleg von Tittybiscuits, of course. We've got Melanie Mingeback, the MGTF. Obviously, we've got the Honourable Shison. Obviously, we've got the Honourable Stigbürt von Thündercock. We've got Sir Richard Morris now, haven't we? Also known as Dick-a-Dum-Dum. And what else have we got? Oh, we've got Brian Johnston, but that's the bit of news. I think that on Monday, Brian Johnston is going to turn into Barney the Streetwise. So that will be, oh, hello. Let me just have a quick look at that. Okay, don't know why you're sending me that in the middle of a live stream. Never mind. So that would be 7. Is that all I've got? Oh, in that case, you're right, Pingo. I definitely need one more. Even if I swap Brian Johnston and Barney the Street, I don't like that bloody name, Barney. I was actually trying to think of a way to fudge that so that I could come up with a new name, because I don't particularly like Barney. So I was trying to think, well, what could Barney be? I mean, it could be Barney Rubble, could be Raymond von Barneveld, something like that. But anyway, what would the other car need to be to round it up to a nice round 8 and thus complete the fleet? And I just like the fact that that rhymes, to be perfectly honest. And I like words that begin with the letter F. Feature number 12. What is your favorite word? Why is everybody pinging me in the mid? And it's people that are on the live as well. So oh, I don't know. What's your favorite word that begins with the letter F? And just to confirm, Pingu, I'm engaged to neither Bernard nor Mustard. And there you go. The news live from Windy Bum as it comes. Pardon me, low tide at Wine Bay. Oh, what's that? Cheeky little sod. Creepy crawly having a guzzle of my wine. I'll teach him. I'll eat him. Oh, you're welcome, Ashley. Absolutely very welcome. Black Line says the fleet is nowhere near complete. It's just the silver line he's got. Gold next, then blue. It's like collecting Panini stickers all over again. God almighty, I tell you what, Windsor Davis there. that's enough to tempt me into adding a gold selection to the fleet. Hey, maybe I could do an Olympic themed fleet. 8 silver, 8 bronze, and 8 gold. Maybe that's what I should be aiming for. Oh, hang on. What are we talking about there? Hold on. Right, okay. I think that's a private conversation. Not absolutely certain what that one's about. I've had a hard life, Boaty, says Cheeseburger. That's why I'm bitter and twisted. Yeah, well, that would explain it. Hold on. Gosh, what's all this? Oh, I was a pig collector, says Caroline, and I miss them desperately. I seem to remember, Caroline, that didn't you notice the pigs on the mantelpiece in the front parlour and the pictures on the stairs? I'm sure you did. God, you're all just having conversations amongst yourself, which is fine, which is absolutely fine. Means I can plow through these. Oh God, Ben's burst into song. Can I remember the tune to this one? Come all without, come all within. You'll not see nothing like that. Oh bloody hell, no Pingus. Oh, can it wait until midnight, guys? I can't be looking at them. Oh right, Pingu. Yeah, that one. I know the car that you're talking about. I've seen the adverts for it. It's too expensive, mate. I'm not saying that it's not worth that price. It just wouldn't be worth it to me or to us. And the advert makes it very clear that offers are not welcome and are not invited. It's yeah, I'm familiar with the car. It's in the right color. It's in Starlight Silver Metallic. It's 2000 on a W. It's pre-project drive. It's got a lovely mileage. Just had a new roof lining fitted. Rust-free example, apparently. So yeah, I mean, it's a car I would love to buy, but I just not quite at that price point. I understand it's one of the many casualties of the enlarged ULEZ area, basically. So, yeah, I would buy that car, but not, sadly, I couldn't do it at that price point. But if the, it's a lady, isn't it? If the lady in question would like to get in touch either with me or with Mustard and negotiate a bit, we would be more than happy to do that. And that saved me from singing the mighty Jimmy Quinn song. So that's a good job. Cheeseburger says, James, the live stream will last until you are 22. Shut up, Cheeseburger. Oh, dear. Oh, James, yeah, of course. 21 was a day next. I lost my father figure and my pride and joy, but I'll try. Yeah, of course. Oh, dear. What to say about that? Life is a coin with two sides. There is endless joy available, and there is always endless tragedy as well. And in order for life to be what it is and to offer the possibilities of the joy, you've got to have the other side of the coin as well. And obviously, we're all going to get knocked by the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune that life throws at us. And you've got to survive them. You've got to do whatever you need to do to keep your head above water. And you've got to cling to the life raft of joy. So that would be my only bit of advice. Endure the tragedy, embrace the joy. And in my book, not that I know what I'm talking about, but that's the way to get through life. Endure the tragedy, embrace the joy. It's quite good, actually, for me at this time of night. And I'm going to call that a live stream title. There you go. None of you have given me one, you lazy buggers, so I'll do my own. Oh, and your 21st was lovely, spent in Roma. Oh, well, that's good to know. God, I haven't been to Italy for ages and ages and ages. In fact, I think the last time I was in Italy was a very long time ago, maybe 30 years. Oh, right. Thank you, Pingu. I genuinely think the last time I was in Italy, actually in Italy, was in 1991 for the 3 Tennis concert when I was in Caracalla. Now I should have been to Italy since then because I kept meaning to pop over from Malta. All that time I spent in Malta and Gozo, and the plan was always to nip over on the ferry to Sicily, and then there was another plan when I was when my friend and I were working on opening or taking over another friend's restaurant in Malta, in Fräulein. You'll remember this when this was all supposed to be happening. Yeah, we were going to be taking over a restaurant in I remember that in Ara. Of course, it was in Ara. And there was also going to be another business taking British cars, road tripping them, driving them across the continent, down through Italy, on the ferry to Sicily, through Sicily, on the ferry to Malta, and then selling them on in Malta, because there is a thriving British classic car market going on in Malta. And that was all kind of going ahead, and I was going to be moving out there, and I resigned from my job and whatnot, but then there was the shenanigans with Dad, and that kind of put pay to all of that. And then other things happened, and a relationship happened, and it kind of just went under the bridge. And then, of course, but I was still spending time in Malta, trying to get out there every month over the winter months. But then the pandemic happened, and that kind of put pay to that. And, you know, from Malta being my second home, I haven't actually been now for, well, since before the pandemic, which seems like last week. But what is it now? 3 years? 3 years, something like that. Was it 2020 or 21 when it hit? I can't even remember. God, time flies. I am planning to get back out there this winter, though. That is definitely on the list. I've got, I love it out there. I've got friends that I miss. I miss their lifestyle. I miss everything about it. And I don't want to be spending the whole winter stuck in the bloody UK. Having a couple of days a month over winter out in the Maltese Islands, it makes all the difference. And it's ridiculously cheap to do as well. And just having, even if it's only 3 days, 2 nights, or 3 nights, 4 days, having that to look forward to gets you through the rest of a crappy January, February, March, you know. And the weather's always very temperate in Malta. And my birthday also for 9 years on the trot. I always spent my birthday in Gozo, and always had my birthday lunch at St. Patrick's Hotel in Jelendi Bay in Gozo, and always had my birthday supper at my friend Lucy's restaurant back in Ara. And of course, that's not happened for the last 2 years. So it's happening next year. Don't expect me to be here for my birthday. You can, for my birthday live stream, I will be in the jacuzzi in my hotel suite in bloody Ara, mate. You watch me. Anyway, there we are. Okay. Oh, Dan's Bangers. Sorry, Ben. Oh my God. How could I, of all people, miss a Dan's Bangers reference? Dear me. You see, I told you I was tired. I've lost my thing. Where did I get to? Yeah, there we are. Diddly-doo, diddly-doo. Still a bit crackly at times, and we're just going to have to live with it, darlings. Cope with it tonight. There's not long left. There's another half an hour, and hopefully the internet and everything else and the microphones and Christ knows what will repair themselves over the weekend. Maybe they're tired. Maybe they need a rest like I certainly do, and you probably do as well. James says, Concorde would still be in the sky if I was Prime Minister. No, it wouldn't. Alpha Charlie, the flagship BA Concorde, would be touching the edge of space. I went to Alpha Charlie in 2015 at Manchester Airport. It would make no difference if you were Prime Minister or not, to be honest, James, because it wasn't a British decision. The reasons that Concorde became no more were twofold. One reason was 9/11. I'm sure you all remember what happened on 9/11. Now, at the time of 9/11, Concorde had just undergone a massive and incredibly expensive refit. The interiors had all been updated. They'd spent an absolute fortune, etc., etc., etc. Then 9/11 happened. And James, I know that you're quite a young chap. I was doing quite a lot of international traveling at the time. After 9/11, then obviously Concorde's mainstay was Heathrow to JFK, London to New York, and that was what kept Concorde very much afloat. And after 9/11, everybody stopped doing the commute to the US. So the bookings for Concorde just dried up literally overnight. Obviously, if you didn't live through it, then you probably wouldn't be aware just how calamitous it was and how much of a perceived threat it was deemed to be. But all of the business travelers and the celebrities who kept Concorde afloat by doing that 3.5-hour commute from London to New York, they just stopped doing it. And as a result, almost overnight, Concorde became not viable. That was one of the reasons. The other reason, which is partly connected to that, but not totally, was Airbus, who manufactured all of the parts needed for Concorde to keep her in the skies. That also became unviable. You've got to remember that those airframes were a significant age and with a significant mileage. Concorde dates back to 1969, and we're talking about 2001. So those airframes were over 30 years old. And obviously an airframe will only withstand a given amount, certainly a commercial airframe, will only withstand and endure a certain level of time and stress and mileage. And it was simply no longer viable or Airbus deemed it to be no longer viable to keep producing the parts needed to keep Concorde in the skies. So those two factors combined are what finished Concorde off. It's not the Air France crash from Charles de Gaulle. That's not what did it, contrary to belief. And I've discussed that crash with you guys before. And I shared some inside knowledge I happened to have from an engineer who worked with Air France. And it was actually confirmed by, I think, 2 of you guys who also had the same inside track knowledge. But it wasn't that crash, the one and only Concorde fatal crash that caused the end. It was 9/11 and simply the cost of keeping an aged set of airframes up in the sky. I mean, that's also why there isn't an airworthy Concorde remaining. There are Concordes in museums around the world, including Ringway, Manchester Airport, as James rightly says. But none of them are remotely airworthy and never will be again, very sadly. And let's remember that for most of her working life, Concorde ran at a loss. There were various things that kept her afloat. The charter flights, the idea of charter flights, very much helped. And Jock. Oh, I can't remember his surname. And I know the guy, Jock. I do apologize. But Jock was almost single-handedly responsible for Concorde not ending a lot sooner than it did. Oh, let's go right back to the start. I mean, remember that Concorde, which was supposed to be this amazing thing, all of the orders for Concorde when she was brand new were cancelled. No Concordes were sold at all. And in the end, they had to be sold to the national airlines of France and Britain for £1. That's the only way they could get rid of them. Jock Stein, of course it was. And Concorde ran at a massive loss until Jock, who was a Concorde pilot and went on to run the fleet, he had the genius idea, and it was genius. All of the people who flew Concorde, or 99.9%, were celebrities and top businessmen, right? Because other than the sensation of the speed and getting high enough to see the curvature of the Earth, you wouldn't travel in Concorde for pleasure. Trust me, I've done it. It's cramped. It's uncomfortable. You'd be, in terms of pleasure, I mean, it's an experience. Of course, it's an experience. But in terms of pleasure, you would be much better off in business class or first class in any 747. It was the experience, but above all, it was the speed. It was the people who needed to move between the US and the UK, and Concorde allowed them to do it in just under half the time of any other subsonic commercial airliner. But it still ran at a loss until Jock had the great idea. He suddenly realized that all of these people who traveled on Concorde, none of them booked their own tickets. Their secretaries, their teams, their people booked the tickets for them. None of them had a clue how much it cost. So he did a survey on board Concorde, and he asked all of the actual travelers themselves, how much do you think your ticket cost? And they all guessed that it was significantly higher than the real cost, right? So what did Jock do? He just raised the ticket prices to what they thought they were already paying. And suddenly, bang, Concorde was profitable. But then you had the Air France crash, which was, and let's be clear about this, apologies to any French, that was the French's fault. A British Airways Concorde never crashed. There's, oh, you know, it would take me hours to go into the full story of the Air France Concorde crash. It's something that I'm really fascinated by. But it would never have happened with British Airways, I can tell you that. Anyway, been rather waylaid with all of that Concorde talk, haven't I? Oh, it seems okay now. Jolly good. God, how far behind am I? Right, I've done that. Simone had a rather unexpected plug on Hubnut today. Oh, that's nice. That's encouraging. Ross is here, Dinosaur Dad, and says, hello, everyone. Driving this morning, so I'm here in the background. Excellent. James says, did you know that Air France lost 2 Concordes? Not only one, sadly, in the 2000 disaster, but also one in 94 scrapped due to the subframe damage that was, oh, well, there we are, on the 25th of July 2000. It didn't, thank you, James. It didn't seem to change when you switched mics. Did you have the wireless one turned on all the time, even with the one plugged into the side? Right, Black Lines, you're getting a bit confused there. All of the mics are wireless. I've got a plug that plugs into the camera, and then I have a variety of microphones which all operate off the same plug-in, if that makes any sense to you. So I was just swapping one wireless mic for another one. I think the issue is actually with the internet, but that all happened about half an hour ago, so it is what it is, basically. A finger of Boaty is just enough, says Ben. Oh, it's perfect now, says Steve. Excellent. Jolly good. Plug the mic back in. It was louder. Mic was okay. Bedtime now for Simone. Diddly-doo. Oh, and now we're talking about Hubnut. And yeah, it was a bit of fun a few months ago when we threatened to declare shenanigans. I still think that we should declare shenanigans on Hubnut. The problem is that Ian, as lovely as he doubtless is, I don't think that he would get into the spirit of shenanigans. Whereas Matt, or even Joseph, or certainly James, J among cars, I think they very much would. I think that if we declared shenanigans on Hubnut and went after him with water pistols at a show as we were planning to, I think it would just backfire. I don't think he would see the funny side, whereas the other guys would. I'm just not sure that Ian shares our humour, which in a way would make it all the funnier, wouldn't it? Yeah, I agree, Pingu. Sound is a pound, says Caroline. Oh, onion gravy with cheeseburger, sausage and mash. Good. Jimmy Quinn had lamb fillet with gravy, roast potatoes, peas, and a large Yorkshire pudding. You need a silver city Rover, says Rover Joe. You know that I would totally buy that. If one ever comes up, I've told you, find me one. I guarantee you I will buy it and I will use it. Mustard and I had amazing plans for a city Rover. And if push comes to shove, then in a year or two's time, if I can't get one, I will go to India, I will import a Tata Indica, and I will city Roverize it myself. Actually, how good a project would that be? To make a better city Rover than City Rover. Go over to India. Come with me. We can all go. We'll have a jolly over to India. And we'll bring back a Tata Indica, which is, of course, what a city Rover is. And we'll have a go at bloody roverizing it up and see if we can't do a better job than the Phoenix Consortium did, ourselves. The pinging will be the lady upstairs. Steve, I wish. I promise you. I promise you. I have no company this evening, sadly. Oh, Neil's here. Hello all. Sorry I'm late to the party. Well, give us a note from your mother and we'll let you off. Get a Rover 100 if you want, Boaty, says James. But I'll advise you it ain't good for a tall person. When I got with Lisa, you remember Lisa? Lisa's the one that I lived in half the time in Devon, half the time in Cyprus after I bought the place in Cyprus. And Lisa was the one who ran the airline at Exeter Airport. You remember her? Yeah, of course you do. When I met Lisa, my semi-daily was Milo, my Porsche 928. and Lisa fell in love with Milo. I think she fell in love with him because I picked her up for our first date. I picked her up in Milo, and I think she fell for him before she fell for me. And who could blame her? He was a handsome sod. And so when Lisa and I moved in together, I was commuting from Exeter or near Exeter to the showrooms on the outskirts of Birmingham. And doing that, and there were two things about that. Doing that in a 928, I had other cars as well, obviously, but I really loved that 928. Doing that in a 928 was, and there were no speed cameras on the M5. I could do that commute very quickly. That was a car that would sit at 135 miles an hour all day long without an issue. That beautiful, unstressed V8 sitting there in front of you. But it did rather gobble up the juice. Now, Lisa had a very sensible company lease Rover 100 in that, is it aquamarine shade of bluey green sort of thing? And she loved Milo. And of course, she was only commuting from the cottage in Rockbeer to Exeter Airport, which was like 2.5 miles or something like that. So she suggested that I use the Rover 100 for the commute. And she would suffer using the beautiful Porsche 928. So that's what we did for a while. Quite a while, actually. If you're Facebook friends with me, and you're all welcome to be, then there are pictures of the 928 and of Lisa in the 928. But the point is, James, that I drove a Rover 100 for many, many miles. I mean, when you have to drive as many cars as I used to, then I can drive anything. There are cars that I simply do not fit in. I mean, a Rover 100, easy, no problem. But there are cars I literally don't fit in. Triumph Spitfire, MG Midget, Lotus Esprit Series 1, and others that I can't immediately recall. And yet I still used to drive them because I had to. Sometimes there was no alternative. So despite the fact that I'm enormous at 6'5" and some stones, I always found a way to drive them. But the Rover 100 was no problem at all. And I would actually love one. But, oh, I'm so sorry. Do excuse me. The people that I bought Windsor Davis from on Monday, they have got a beautiful MG Metro, amongst other cars. But the one I fixated on was this MG Metro in silver, the correct color, red carpets, red seat belts. You remember that grey trim with all of the red piping? Oh, God, it's stunning. And I wanted it more than I wanted. I tried to buy it off them. I threatened not to leave their property unless they agreed to sell it to me. And they wouldn't. But I am keeping in touch with them. Because one day they might. And then I will pounce. Somebody has done a nice thing. Who's that? Let's have a look. Oh, Mike. God bless you, Mike. Thank you very much for that. Very much appreciated. That will go towards, what will that go towards? Well, probably a bottle of wine, to be honest. That will turn itself into a bottle of wine. Or, nobody warned me. Nobody reminded me. I've frozen my wine. Wine turds. That'll teach me. Thank you very much, Mike. I really appreciate it, as you know. Oh, and some other news on Windsor Davis. I did take him out for a quick jolly tonight. I pulled the fuse on the ABS module so that the brake pedal isn't kicking back at me because, as I think I mentioned last night, the plan on Monday is going to be to take Windsor Davis to the Yard of Dreams and come back in Barney. And I didn't fancy doing it with the pedal, giving my right hoof a load of grief. So I pulled the fuse, took him out for a whiz. Much, much, much better. Yeah, Monday's drive will be very enjoyable, hopefully on the way there and on the way back. I'm certainly looking forward to lunch, even though it's my turn to pay, sadly. And the other thing I spotted that I didn't spot before about Windsor Davis, I mentioned, I think, on a video that he was just turning over a little bit sluggishly when he was cranking to start. And he's got the wrong size battery on. He's got, I mean, that 2.3 Honda double overhead cam EFI unit, that's a big old lump. And it's got a tiny battery on this. So I think it's the correct size of battery for a 1.4K series. So that's going to need to be replacing. And that's possibly, if the SRS and ABS are battery related, then that tiny battery is not going to help. So it's fine. It's charged. It'll do the job. But when we get it up to the Yard of Dreams, a battery change is definitely on the cards. Anyway, oh, it was your fault, Joe. Everyone pinged Boaty, and they bloody did, didn't they? Video title from Cheeseburger. In in honor of the wonderful Jack Sonny, who I've never heard of, Dire Straits rhythm guitarist who died too early at 68 yesterday. I want my MOT. And that's a deliberate misquote from it's Money for Nothing, isn't it? Money for Nothing. But sorry to hear that he fell off the twig at a relatively young age. You could have a sticker album for the car, says Bernard. Well, that's a thought, isn't it? What I do need to do is start cracking on with the merch. I've been saying that for 9 months and still haven't bloody well got round to it. Rover negotiation. The muff magnet needs to be deployed, says Cheeseburger. Hold on. Oh, Pingu's come up with a live stream title. Welcome back, Jimmy Quinn, who is not shit. I'd forgot. I just missed Jimmy because he was part of the gang and he was like a perennial part of this. I forgot that he said that everything that I did was shit. I wouldn't have missed him so much if I'd have remembered that. And Bernard agrees about the short breaks. It makes such a difference. I would much rather have a couple of days a month than have 2 weeks once a year, little and often. And the older that I get, then the more I struggle with UK winters, especially living where I do. I mean, obviously, you guys, you lived through all of last winter with me, right? So you all saw the eternal perennial snow. You were with me when I was trying to drive to the restaurant across the tops and over the fields and whatnot. Now, okay, this winter it should be better. I've got a proper, really capable Land Rover now, and that is ready to be deployed whenever the weather gets bad. But nonetheless, it it does get you down a bit being permanently cold and whatnot. And especially in January, when spring still seems like a long, long way away, to have 3 or 4 days just basking around in 21 or 22 degrees in the beautiful Maltese Islands, those 3 days make the rest of the month a walk in the park an absolute doddle. And it's, I've got it down to a T. I was doing it for years. So, I just get a cheap old Ryanair flight out, normally from East Midlands, sometimes from Birmingham. And then when I land at Lua Airport, then my friends in the village, there will be a car waiting for me in the car park. Keys will be under the carpet in the boot. I'm not going to tell you what car it is. Well, I will. You're not going to go and nick it, are you? It's a Peugeot 107, which I'm very, very fond of. And it will be full of fuel. So I just jump out of the airport. I have to find the car, obviously, but they do give me a clue. And then jump in the car, and then it's just back in the islands that I love. So it's the drive from the airport, and I usually, if it's daylight, I take the scenic route. If not, I go the direct route, and then that's back to Ara, where I base myself, and then it's just into the lovely routine. I've got all of my spots around the island which I love. I love Dingley. I love Dingley Cliffs, the Blue Grotto, the Dingley Cliff Road. I always have a lunch in Maserschlock, which is a beautiful harbour village. I'll always have I'll have a morning coffee at the Fontanella Tea Rooms in Mdina, and I will always spend time in Mdina, the old, which is an amazing place. You'll know if you've ever been there. It's the old capital before Valletta, and it's a walled compound of a place, and it's unchanged. There are no cars. Well, very few cars. They're not allowed in unless they happen to live there. And the Fontanella Tea Rooms is the highest point on the island of Malta. Epic views and sensational cakes, if you're into that sort of thing. And then, of course, I always have my day, at least one day, sometimes more, in Gozo. And the drive from Ara up to Chikawa, to get the ferry over to Mgar in Gozo, that's a fabulous drive. The ferry is always lovely, quick 25 minutes, and it's more often than not absolutely beautiful. And then Gozo is so much more beautiful than Malta. Parts of Malta are still beautiful, but so much of it has been spoiled, whereas Gozo is still unspoiled. And I will always have my day in, well, the place I always make a beeline for is Shlendi Bay. I adore Shlendi Bay. And when I become incredibly rich and famous, I'll buy an apartment there. And Jimmy Quinn, just to confirm, says his streams are still shit. Oh, jolly good. Video title, Happy Birthday, I'm off. Jimmy Quinn collects Concorde items. Could have helped you out there, Jimmy. Lisa and I used to have a lot. We live in a post 9/11 world today, says James. It's mad how we took a step back in aviation 20 years ago. I was born on the Sunday and 9/11 happened on Tuesday. The most annoying thing about it, James, on a very personal level, is that prior to 9/11, then any captain could put friends or whatever on the jump seats in the cockpit at will. And for a long time, twice a week, I commuted between Larnaca Airport in Cyprus and Exeter Airport with our friend who was a training captain with Eurocipria, and I never paid for a single flight. Lisa and I always sat on the jump seats in the cockpit, and it was grand. And 9/11 put an end to that. Civilians were not allowed in the cockpit. Not even if they were known quantities and traveling. It was that was an end of it. Great shame. Cheeseburger says, I was on the first flight out of Manchester to Orlando after 9/11. More staff than passengers. Yeah, there would have been. And the American flight would have been worse. about 3 days after 9/11, because I think I was mostly based in Africa when 9/11 happened. And certainly 2 or 3 days after 9/11, I flew out of BHX, out of Birmingham, to North Africa. And of course, my passport then, um, I had Russian visa, Ukrainian visa, USA visa, and African visas, which made me a highly dodgy person. And yeah, they took a great interest in me when I was checking in. But again, that flight was empty. I think all flights were going to be quiet, but yeah. Excuse me. Cheeseburger says Concorde was an engineering miracle. It really was. It was a genuine quote from some NASA guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Joe. I think my microphone turned off. Hold on. Right. Tonight's live stream, darlings, has obviously gone incredibly tits up with technological problems. So, well, I've turned it back on now, Joe. I didn't realize it had turned off. So I don't know how much you've missed, but I think we'll wind this one up. It's been a little bit disastrous, so I do apologize for that. I was just reading James's comment saying that it was a British Air, a BA Concorde pilot who did his own investigation into the Air France crash. It wasn't. It was Air Crash Investigations who discovered the missing spacer. That was part of the problem. There was a missing spacer on the landing wheels, and that caused it to veer off to the left, and that was one. But there were so many issues that caused that crash. The plane was overweight. That was the pilot's fault. The missing spacer didn't help. The debris on the runway didn't help. But the biggest single cause, as we've talked about before, was the fact that Air France used remold tyres and British Airways never did. Hey ho. Video. Right, darlings, microphone's playing up. I'm giving up on tonight. It's all just gone tits up. I'll have a quick whiz through the comments. Right, apologies for all of the technical issues tonight, my loves. Just one of those nights where the ghosts have been at it and everything has decided to go wrong. Typical Thursday. So we'll get back on track on Monday. I'm just quickly whizzing through the comments to see what I've missed. Diddly-doo. James is asking what everybody's favourite Volvo is. Steve Cole loves the winter. Caroline hates UK winter. I'm with you on that one, my lovely. Skick asks, is Bernard your partner? No, but I wish she was. And it's not for the want of trying on my part. For those who don't know, and most of you do, Bernard is the person I've been chasing for about 8 years. And she runs faster and I can't catch her, sadly. Your mic has gone muted. Yeah. No sound. I can still hear the fish. I don't know what. God knows what's gone on today. Don't do corpse swap. As soon as you said NASA, the sound went off. Oh, he's back. Mic's off. Mike, good night. Thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate that. Is your next buy a plane by any chance? Oh, God, I'd so love that. Obviously not, but in all seriousness, what I would like to do, powered flight is out of the question, but I would like to get my my non-powered license back. I had a non-powered pilot's license, glider license, in other words, and there's an excellent gliding club near me, and I would like to get that license back. I used to enjoy gliding very much. An incredible sense of serenity up there. Totally different feeling, a much more organic feeling than you get when you're flying powered. John Hutchinson, that's his name. Senior Concorde pilot, John. Very helpful to the to many of the Safe Concorde or Remember Concorde groups. He appeared in more than one documentary where he spoke about that, but he didn't do the investigation, James. The investigation was ACI initially. Although to be fair to John, and I have spoken to John because he's, I hope he's still with us. He was very good at coming forward in the. I'm a member of various Concorde groups and whatnot because I've got a kind of spurious, tenuous connection. Again, I know it's late. I know we need to go, but obviously. Exeter, as I've mentioned before, Exeter had an exceptionally long runway, and Exeter could and did accommodate Concorde. And Lease was running the tower when, on the occasion that Concorde came in. And again, you know, running, and subsequent to that, running the airline, she knew some of the pilots, so that meant that I got to know them. Lisa's best friend was, at the time, a BA pilot again, so we used to mix with all of those, although he did go to Virgin afterwards, but then there was another BA pilot. I mentioned before that the Red One was Lisa's ex. And when he retired from the Air Force, I loved this because I always felt a bit inferior compared to him. He was a lovely guy, but I had a bit of an inferiority complex in comparison. And He went to BA after retiring from the Air Force. He failed his sim. I've never been happier. I've genuinely, I mean, obviously I didn't say so, but oh God, I thought, oh, thank you. He's bloody human after all. Video title, Video Killed the Radio Star. I mean, technology has just killed everything tonight, hasn't it? Attack of the microphones, why not? Jimmy Quinn, thank you. Thank you for that super chat. Nice to see you back, Jimmy, says Cheeseburger, and I second that. Concorde was a huge success compared to Concorde Ski, the TU144. Yes, it absolutely was. I mean, that was just an absolute bag of nails. It didn't have the range. It didn't have, well, I mean, it was just, but they got there first, and that was what they were aiming for, with a bit of industrial espionage. Guys, I'm so sorry about all the technological backlash today. So yeah, thank you for bearing with me. I'm going to let you all get to bed now, which I also need to do, and have a great weekend. Obviously, there'll be the daily diaries, there will be the evening video uploads, but I won't see you live again until Monday. Might do a live in the afternoon at the yard with Mustard. Excuse me. But obviously there will be the normal Monday night live from 10 o'clock onwards. So I hope you all have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much it's been a brilliant week, with the exception of tonight's technological doings. The live streams have been fabulous this week. I need to thank you all for your support. You've been absolutely amazing. Oh, you want a weekend live, Pingu? Shall I do another live at lunchtime? How do you fancy a live at lunchtime on Saturday or Sunday? I only ever did the one, didn't I? And it went really well. Who fancies another live at lunchtime? Let me know. I'll give you 4 minutes to let me know if you fancy a live at lunchtime this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. And then it's during the day. I can be as loud as I want. The neighbours can't complain. With a guest star, Bernard. Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Bernard, would you like to come and co-host a live stream with me? Thank you for persevering. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, it's been a nightmare tonight. Oh God, bloody technology, eh? I don't know what's gone wrong with the microphone. It's turned off again. Not a clue. Not a clue. I mean, at some point, I need to invest in some proper technology and have a proper table-mounted omnidirectional mic, and start going down that road. Okay, so are we all up for a weekend live, a live at lunchtime, a cheeky hour, maybe on Sunday before Sunday lunch? How would that be? I'm up for it. I'm up for that, especially as tonight has been a bit of a washout. I kind of owe you a decent hour, don't I? And if we're doing it on Sunday, then see how the weather is. I'll put you in a different position, or we can go outside. We can do a garden live. Thank you, Cheeseburger. Weekend live sounds good. Saturday I'll be at West Bromwich Albion. Sunday over the Atlantic. Sunday when you have weak legs. Okay, I'll do one over the weekend. I will do a live over the weekend to make up for tonight. All right, darlings. Thank you so much for bearing with me tonight. Apologies again for all of the technological issues. Thank you for your support over this week and just generally as always. Plenty of videos to come. Obviously, there's a daily diary. I think you're going to have evening videos, 1919, all the way through. I don't think there'll be a break this week. And I'll keep you... Oh, don't forget the Facebook group, Boaty's World on Facebook, and the Facebook page, same name. And I can always keep up with you there. And hopefully Monday's going to be quite exciting. There is a potential acquisition adventure, possibly a new fleet member. Lots of stuff to look forward to. So, thank you again. Take great care of yourselves. Have a safe and peaceful night. Have the best day that you can tomorrow. Much love to you all. Okay, bye-bye.